Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Threadlings of Filmmaking Production Diary. I am Miguel Ortega, and this is Tran.
Hello, everyone.
Is half asleep. So, yeah, so we're talking about the making of the Threadlings film in Unreal Engine and Maya and a lot of other programs. Right, Tran?
Yes, we are. What do you have in front of you?
I have these cute guys here. So these are some of the larvae. Oh, it's playing a little choppy. It's kind of cute.
Kind of cute.
So they need more slime. So I'm gonna try to figure out how to do that. Um, but I'm pretty happy with how they're starting to come out. So these are the larvae that get injected into the threadlings, and then they hatch from inside of them, and they eat them from within. So these are the three babies. Um, their eyes have to be glowing, like the little balls in the bigger eye shape. Those are going to be glowing, and then what else? And then we're trying to get a little bit more uh, overall like eye rotation in there. Um, this is actually not the latest version, so I'm gonna update the animation because I just got an update. So I'll do that right now.
Here's a question here. What are the threadlings made inside cotton balls. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, stuffing.
They're full of stuffing.
They're full of stuffing inside.
Yeah.
But that's a good question. So there's no blood in the threadlings.
No, but it's still
Yeah.
so yeah, basically Zord uh has like that inside his body, right? So
Yeah, so when you saw his head like deforming in the little edit section we showed you guys last week,
that it's rippling.
that's what's inside. It's these guys, and they're eating at his threadling brain and controlling him to do evil things. So this is the alien part of our film. So there is the equivalent of like the face huggers in here. They're not the face huggers because the face huggers are kind of a whole different creature. That's what's so interesting about Alien is it goes from egg to face hugger. The face hugger impregnates someone, and then the xenomorph comes out of that. So the face hugger has like a super short lifespan, which is such a creepy, is that evolution or the cycle, the life cycle of those animals is kind of creepy. But anyway, so working on this, I feel the subsurface looks pretty cool. Um, so let's update the animation with the new version. Give me a minute. Um, this was a shot that we want to have in our trailer, Classroom Attack. I was a little bit worried about this shot because it's so tiny because these are little. The threadlings are little, and then these guys are little for
For that
for that
scale.
for that scale. But
Yeah.
it actually worked out. The only thing that it actually gave me an issue is like normally when I set this up, I'll have my f-stop set to something very low, like 1 or 2. If I set this to 1 or 2, forget it. I just won't see anything. So I had to set my f-stop to. Let me delete this camera. This is not the camera I need. Let me call this Larva cam. Um, so I had to set it to like 4. So you can see if I bring it to like 1, the depth of field becomes so shallow that you can't even make out what it is. So I had to bring that to like 4.3. You can see if I bring this higher, I'll get to see more of the larva. But to really sell the fact that they're tiny, you want that to be very small. So 4.3 seemed to give us the good look. And let's take a look around these little gross bastards. Um, I think I've even only like been looking at them from the camera POV, but you can see it's got the gross pus balls on them. Um, so I modeled these guys, and then David Kwok textured them. They look pretty cool. I was nervous about them because whenever I do something, I feel that it's gonna suck, but it came out all right.
It's got really good surface details. Miguel is like really good at doing surface details.
Monster stuff, which is easy, really.
Well,
All
it's
right,
easy for you.
all right. Let's bring in the latest animation. Yeah, but monster stuff is easy. Like you do a portrait of a woman, I find it much more badass than a monster. So let's open up this thing here. So this is our latest version, 42. So this is 10 versions later. So I just gotta find where my rigs are. These are models that or a rig that we've had done for a very long time, and I hadn't even opened the rig to test to make sure it's even working. So I always get afraid when I just kind of let something sit like that for so long because I'm like, dude, I have no idea If by the time I open it, everything is going to be broken. So that,
So it's good, it's not.
yeah, so you can see this one has much more stuff happening on the face. The tongue is moving much more. The inside of the mouth has more vibration. So let's start replacing these guys. The one thing I want to do, so I'm going to save this scene. I do want to make sure that the shader is set up correctly. So I'm going to open up the rig here and make sure that it's set up. Is it this one? Yes. So the thing is, in the Threadlings, our main character, our main villain, who is not revealed to be a villain initially, is supposed to be the Messiah, the prophesized hero, because he was born from a red crystal, and he gets killed. So all of a sudden, it feels like the prophecy isn't correct. Like the prophecy was wrong. He died. But what you end up finding out is that these guys, since they are born from within him, that they are the ones that are prophetic and will be the ones that end the war, but not the way the Threadlings thought. They thought that it would be the ending the war in their benefit, meaning the Threadlings would win, when it's actually that the moths will win. So these guys' eyes have to glow red.
Yeah, because Zord's color, remember, like he's the red crystal.
Yeah.
So that's why he's like visually in a red outfit. But his colors are red, and when these guys come out, they are red,
Yeah.
and they become red moths, and none of the moths are any other moth is red.
That's right. So let's get rid of this here.
Oh yeah, so much detail in this mesh. Absolutely, that's Miguel's mesh.
Oh yeah, the topology on that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, we always work with more dense topology. So, and that's how it's always been.
So what I'm doing here is, if you want the shaders to come into Unreal correctly, you have to make sure that you do two things. One, it's not what you name your shader, like your blend material or your V-Ray MTL, which you should never put a V-Ray MTL because I have no idea what the hell it is. But if you put like your blend, it's not about this name. It's about this name, the shading group, right? The shading group is the thing that you don't really pay a lot of attention to. Well, in Unreal, it's the most important thing. So the naming here has to be correct. So I'll name this like, I'll name the shader, but just for me. And then this name here is for the actual larva, sorry, for Unreal to read the larva eye.
Here's a good question. Was it hand drawn topology or just a Z mesh? So we always do everything by hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Z mesh is like for like concept or like temporary.
Or for, I would use it if we were like I used it. No, I actually didn't use it on the voice in the hollow for the
We don't
tree.
we don't
I
yeah, I don't
think
know.
did I use it? I think I did. No, I
Yeah,
think I did use it, and then it broke on all the roots, so I had to hand do it. That's what it was.
yeah, like it's good for props and things that don't move. But anytime you have a character, if you work on like any good movie or project, characters always have to be they always have to be retopologized by hand. They just don't deform well.
So, okay, here's another thing. If you want to get your shaders into Unreal correctly, you do not want to just drag the shader onto the model. It won't detect it, which is kind of annoying. You have to select the body. This is the bulletproof way. Then assign a Lambert material on it to kind of wipe everything out, right? And then you would select the shader you want, and then you would apply it. But you're applying it to the face. So I already have a script that I created here. So if I select this object, it's going to assign the shader on all the faces, not on the shape node, but on the faces. It's the only way to get it to work correctly, for it to identify it. So this is a little tool that I created with Chat GPT to get it to do it, because it was a pain in the ass. Right click on it, select the faces. Not hard, but this just saves me a couple of minutes. Even if it's just 5 minutes, 3 minutes, it's enough. So now it's assigned on the faces. So if I were to come over here and go select objects with material, you could see it's not selecting the objects, it's selecting the faces. And that's the difference. You need to have that. I'm going to make this a little bit pinker so that I.
And then here's a question that's popped up twice, so let's answer it. Do you have a workflow for transferring models from Maya to Unreal directly?
Well, we're going to do it right now. It's not models necessarily, but so this is good. So let's save this. But how we're getting the Alembics in there.
Yeah, I mean, for like, if something is a prop, we just export FBX out of Maya and then import that. And again, that's like an environment that doesn't move. But for characters, we use an Alembic workflow.
Okay, so I'm going to now select the models. You could see we're using a reference workflow. So nothing is directly in the file. You could see the rigs are always being referenced in. So at any point, we could update the rig and then the animation is not affected. So that's very important. We did not really use that on the voice in the hollow, and that screwed us a bunch of times because that was the first time we had done that, and it was stupid. So this method is the best. So now I'm selecting the model, Alembic cache export selection to Alembic option box. Come down here, strip namespaces. This is very important. UV right, very important. Right face sets and world space. Export selection. And let's get this in here. Alembic workflow is not as ideal. There's like Unreal really, really wants you to rig it inside of Unreal. Like really, really wants you to rig it, and it does a lot of things way better had you rigged it in Unreal. But the problem with that is
The rigging stuff is new, right?
the rigging stuff is new, but the other thing is like, who the hell are you gonna get to animate this thing in Unreal? Like your pool of talent just completely shrinks to like 0.1%, where you have like a trillion animators right now.
The same thing with riggers too. Like who's gonna rig it in Unreal?
Whoever knows how to rig in Unreal right now is making so much freaking money anyway that they won't work on our stupid little film. Okay, so let's do this. So I am exporting just the geometry. So I'm making sure that I'm coming in here and selecting just the geometry, not the top node. If you try to export the top node, it will try to bring in the curves. It will try to bring in everything, and you'll get error messages in Unreal. So you do have to just select the geo.
You have another question. Why not USD? I don't even know.
We
How-
just don't know how to use it. That's the real truth.
Yeah, we just have a need to incorporate USD.
You know, part of the thing that sucks about what we do is that we're so freaking overwhelmed that we don't have a lot of time to like learn new tools because we're like in the middle of battle. But for everything I've heard about USD is that it's amazing.
But I still don't know if that even works for us because like we have to if we have Alembics, it means we can also shop model. And I'm pretty sure Alembics is just the format you want for shop modeling. I don't believe like there is tools that supports USD for that. I don't know. So Alembic is just what we absolutely need for how we work.
So I'm just swapping them out. Just giving it a second. So since I broke out the eyes, they're acting a little bit weird here. But I'll fix that in a minute. Before it was just one material for everything, and it's not anymore. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Okay, so this is the updated animation. So this has more face detail. Let's see. Okay, so oh, I know what this is. So I know what this is. So I told him to speed it up, but I had originally sped it up. So now it's going to move too fast. So I had sped it up in the Alembic. So now I have to bring it back to one here. So you can speed up the Alembic files in Unreal. You just set it to if you come over here to any Alembic, and you come over to your properties, you could go to the play rate and increase it. So I had increased it because I wanted them to move faster. But when I do that, then I told him to just put it in the actual animation file. So now it's faster in the original animation file, plus it's faster because I'm overcranking it. So you can see there's more like little jitter in the mouth. So I wanted to like leave a trail of nasty guck as it's moving around. So I got to figure that out. And I want to have like dripping stuff coming from within the mouth. So I've been playing around with liquid gen, and we're supposed to have them come in and so the material hasn't changed. So they're supposed to come in and show us some of the stuff with liquid gen, which is pretty incredible tool. Let's see. Yeah, Tran, do you want to show the material for this? You made that material
Which material?
for the larva, like the master material. So let me save this. So this should be longer now. So let me see.
Let me share my screen. Okay, well, I'm working on some hairs, but I'll show you guys the mass material. It's pretty well, it's simple. I don't think it's really complex. Zort, it has the most complex material because he like can die, and so his skin changes, and so it has like material parameters for like when his skin is healthy and when it's not. So, um, but like everyone else, including the larva, has the basic standard material, which is like just pretty standard. Things that change here was like I have it reading subsurface profile, and then we create these separate profiles that are attached, and depending on like the character or whatever subsurface object there is, you can you can assign separate ones. But this is like the backscatter color, and the reason why it's more orange is because they're cloth people. They don't have blood, so like technically skin usually has like a very red color, but since they're cotton people, cloth people, just like some kind of warm orange works. Um, and then where it gets kind of complex, well, some of it is very simple. I'll go over very simple stuff. Like we have a specular, um, and these are material parameters. So material parameters can like be brought into a sequence, right? And you can control like the behavior of whatever it is in the sequence. I'll probably show an example in a little bit. They don't have any effect in the main material or material instance at all. And, basic metallic, and we can multiply metallic to bring it up or down. And then we also have a contrast parameter that can be, seen and controlled in the instance. And the SS strength, basic multiply, also contrast, and then some material parameters um, for it. So we can change it if we need to. And then the saturate just clamps it. Same thing with rough. Um, basic multiply material parameters in case we want to control it for the shot. Here, like I added this here. So basically, um, this is a normal map and the strength of the normal. And what this blend angle corrected normals is allows me to apply a second norm map. So what I ended up starting to do is separating like the detail surface from like the main big normal map, right? So the base normal is like what carries the primary forms, and then like any higher frequency details would be in the second one. It's because they easily overpower each other, so they're now separate for a lot of the characters, which was a lot of invisible work that took a lot of time. Um, and then the other thing we added was ambient occlusion pass. I'll connect it here, and then the most complex one is the color. And the reason why it's so complex is because it has Fresnel, right? So we have a Fresnel function. Maybe I could show it here. I don't want to break this, but I'll rename that. Maybe put a black one here. Or
I'll be right back.
I can just input this here. So, there's basically, I'm just letting you guys see like two different maps. So we have this for now, and I'm just using this function, and we have a parameter here that allows this control. So you can control how this falls off. And then 2.2 was a pretty good basic. So that's where it's a little bit complex. So you could input your albedo right here, and then there's a dark, and then there's an albedo light. So like this can be multiplied really low, as you can see the dark, and that gives us like custom control because this is a parameter. And then all this is being driven by the Fresnel function that goes into essentially what is a mask in a lerp. And then these are just other basic stuff like I can have saturation, multiply, contrast, and then like a tint. And so the color has the most complexity. And if I close this, don't want to change it. In a material instance, you know, you see all those controllers here. And let's turn this on. So I don't have any maps input, but you can see I can change that. And then I could give it like a tint, something like that, and make this brighter. And that the reason why we have this is because all our characters are cloth, but it does kind of work. Even this Fresnel effect is on the larva, but it's much more subtle, and it kind of makes it a little bit more complex. So you know, I don't have any saturation because this is just a white thing. But and again, the rest of it is fine. And then we have the subsurface control. So this has a lot of subsurface. We can shut it off through here. So that's a bit more of a complex material. Now Zord, who is actually standing over here. So this is like some basic scene. And I ended up just putting characters in here because it's so light. Just to see if everything is working. Now Zord's material, he's probably going to be adjusted per shot. This is him. And let me open up his actual material instance. So he's got basically the same everything except for dead albedo and, you know, dead normal maps for when he's like dead. And if we jump in here, that is the complexity. And again, it's being driven by a bunch of masks that I painted. So this is like the add-on here, this section here. And then they have material parameters. So you can drive that in animation. And then this same kind of setup here. Now, you can't like, I can plug these masks in here, but you can't really access their control because it's not how they're made. Let's see where I need to put something somewhere. I'll create just show you how it works. A sequence. Okay, and then go back to my material parameters and which is this one. They need to not overlap. I'll drag it in here. If I open these up, you see they're driving dead mask, dead eye mask, all that stuff, which are these masks in here. And the parameter is, these are the material parameters right here. So this node here is exactly this node that is now plugged into the sequence. So now if I, you know, load on dead mask, let's load on all the dead mask here. I have this controller here. And you can see how you can drive that in the shot. So at 0, you don't see anything. And that's mask A, right? So that doesn't feel so linear. And then B is a little bit wider. And then C is like all of it. So anything that I might have not missed, or might have missed. So by breaking it up, you know, I can have something like this by frame 15, the eyes spread.
Oh, you went deep.
Yeah. Well, I don't, like you said, talk about it. I could do it. How should I do it? And then here, this could key at 0. And this will key here. So now, the animation is not very pretty because of the way I'm doing it, but we can have something like that. I can delete all these. And kind of the cool thing, like what Miguel was doing, but it kind of broke when he handed the shot to me and it went to relighting. So we'll have to have him key it again. But it could post in, kind of post back out, and that's what is happening to his face. So there's a lot of stuff that you can play with. And cod mail don't have these things because there's no version of them that they're about to die or anything like that. So that's him there, and his eyes also have stuff too, because you can see here that's his eye, but you can see how I'm driving the eye too, right? So when he's transforming, and then here's one with a complete fall off. He's pretty like, I like how he's designed. When you see him like in this normal mode, like that, he's really just plain and normal. Kind of like not like he has a really plain face, I think. And then but when it turns, when he transforms, it looks scarier. So there's something about like the extremely simple face that gets more terrifying, in my opinion. Anyway, I don't know. You want to show other stuff?
Well, I'm rendering something out.
Okay.
But look at that lineup. I really like seeing them all. Can you close that sequencer? Seeing the
Yeah, I
professor
did.
there.
Give me 1 second. I gotta delete this. Okay, there we are. Yeah, so this lighting is not very pretty. So if it kind of works in here, it's gonna work. I did wonder if his eyes needed to be adjusted. Like he's got like very blue eyes. I thought it made him more intense, but we'll kind of see once he gets in the shot. Any changes will be more apparent. He's caught Mayo. Mayo doesn't have his hair. Okay, so he's bald, and then the moth sitting here. So I
Did you
went.
show the moth already?
No, so I went ahead and started working on the groom here, and the reason why I just went ahead and did it because we were talking to another artist who's great. It's just I decided to do it because I didn't know what I wanted to do. If you don't know what you want to do and you have another artist work on it, it's like really you can have the other person run around in circles, which is not a good thing. So
We designed Mothra on the Michael Dougherty film.
yeah, so like I can figure it out while I'm doing it and not through another person. So here, like you can see the fur back here on its back. I'm still thinking about going, like we adjusted the color a little bit, but I'm still thinking just opening up the textures and doing it. Because one thing that we're afraid of it is that it reads like a bee instead of a moth. But bees don't, really have furry wings from what I, remember. And then these all have fur now.
But we still wanted the orange, some of the orange that the death's head moths have. Death's head moths are the ones that have the skull pattern on the back of their torso, the back of their neck. So we went a little heavier with the skull shape, like we carved it in there. A vague Sedan did, and can you show the back? So it's pretty gnarly, like just completely over the top. Of course, heavy metal as hell.
Yeah, but like the real death head's moth really.
Yeah, but it's not carved in. It's just the fur.
Yes, but it's still kind of cool.
Oh, it's the coolest. I mean, that's why we're doing it. But what I like about this color right now is I kept telling Tran I want it to look like if you've ever seen a dead dog after a week that you find like off the side of the railroad track, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, he likes that the fur looks gross.
Like it's got to look like a dead rat or a dead dog that you see in the side of the railroad track, and you're like, oh my god, that's so disgusting, and the color has just been sucked out of it. It looks all matted and disgusting. That's it right there.
Yeah, so that's a real one, which is still it's quite furry. It does have colors the same as a bee, but
We just did not want anyone to mistake it for a bee, so we were like, let's go.
and that's a bee. But you know, it doesn't have furry wings. I don't know. We'll see.
There's no cards. It's all real groom.
Um,
Daria's asking.
oh, I see. Did you use Groom and how was it brought into? Uh, well, I can show you just right now.
Yeah, show how you got the groom in there.
Okay, so this Groom is broken into many pieces. I'll also show you how it looks in Path Tracer because we think this shot um, is going to be path tracing just this sequence. So you can see like how it renders. More light passes through the wings, the way subsurface should behave, and we get a lot more subsurface on the material, the antenna. The fur actually looks a little bit softer, which is not necessarily what we want, but it's fine. So that's like the path tracer look, which is like basically saying, you know, what happens if this was rendered with Arnold or V-Ray or something like that. Yeah, like that's interesting because the material when it goes into path tracer for the hair actually scatters light, but it does not in Lumen. It just is a thing, like a shiny thing. That's I don't know how to explain it, but it doesn't behave like a hair shader that you would have like for something like Arnold or V-Ray. So just to show you how this is broken up, it's quite a few descriptions. Um, each geometry has its own, right? So these have their own. The body is one big one that took a long time because of how big it is. The head and then the wings, and then these are all separate too, because they're not in a combined mesh. So this is just how it's done. Um, the heavier your mesh, the longer it takes to groom it technically. So like this has like 146,000 faces. And just to like place guides, it just starts getting really, really slow. So it's something to keep in mind. And then once you start grooming, you can't press like delete history on your mesh because you would just like break the action connection to the mesh because I am using action. So there's stuff like that that kind of, well, it like super sucks because in Maya, you do have to delete history or your scene can get like unstable. Um, over here in the outliner, this is this description that I have active. And really the groom is pretty simple. It is basic in the sense like it's just showing you like, okay, this is how the hair has to flow, all these guides. And if you don't set them up like this, then they will, just not, they'll just show up wherever. I have a basic mask that is painting out like the insides where it deforms more. I don't know how much you'll actually see this back leg though. And then as for modifiers, all I have is noise. So there's not even clumps because it's not meant to be very furry. I do track how many strands I have. So I have a log here and I can catch the number of strands is at 12,000, which I think is fine. So it's good enough. And then the strands are a little bit thicker. Now, um, one thing here that is a kind of a pain in the ass, and this is like specific to XGen. So you wouldn't have to worry about this if you were using Yeti, but I don't use Yeti. So that's why we're using XGen. I have several UV sets on this lake that I have selected. You can see I have like UDIM workflow. So the regular textures that you see in Unreal, like just on the surface, has this UV set because it has more detail. And then the XGen UVs are the single UDIM. And the reason why it's like that is when I want to paint mask in Maya, it can only paint in one UDIM. So now it puts me in a situation where I have to have multiple UDIMs. Now, when I export this hair, it will assign actual UVs to the hair. So the hair actually gets the UVs and it will get whichever UV that you have assigned into map one. So this is not the one I want because that is not actually the one that is textured. So I have to swap it back into map one. And if you use action, you'll be stuck dealing with this. Because if you have a high end or higher end character, you probably have UDIMs on it. And then once I have that, I just convert it to interactive groom. Because I don't like to use interactive groom. Let's put this up here. And I'll hide that. So now this is an IGS system. And when it converts it, I just want to check to make sure if there's anything weird. Okay, it looks fine because sometimes when it converts, you never know, you might catch something. And then now that it's like this, it's really simple. I just go to cache, export cache. I set it to current frame. We don't have animation, and I just turn on right final width. And then this will be export it here. And this is the back leg hair. Okay. Okay, now that's exported. It's actually pretty simple. And I'll find my character where I have all my hair grooms saved in this folder. Let me find the Alembic. I bring it in. These are the export settings. You can find them online. They're a little bit weird. And now I have that leg hair. I'll open it up here because I will want to assign a specific material to this, but I'll also drag it in here just to see how it looks. And we'll copy this position and paste it. So we can see that the hair is here. And it doesn't have the color on it. It just has like a default hair material. So that's why it looks like that. It doesn't blend in very well. What I do then is try to select the hair and then find these guys. The naming is kind of tiring because there's so many materials. So cloth, hair, leg, left, and this is back. I have to think about it. And now that I have that material, I'll press 1 in the material slot so that I can attach that. And when I save that, that material has swapped out over here, except it doesn't have the right texture because I just duplicated from something else. And now I'm going to find the same exact back leg texture, albedo, and the left one. and just put them in here. And now it's good. Now, sometimes, you know, when you get really close to it, you realize it, the way it renders it, it's just, they're kind of like cards. And then sometimes I think that let me find this. The hair is a little bit fat, or maybe it's like a little bit too fuzzy. So just for some of the leg hair, I thin it out. I know I did on the mid leg. And you can change the scale on the root and the tip. So that's what I'll do right now. I'll just match this one. So now it's a little bit thinner. And this because I don't want it to dominate so much. I just want it to look like nasty little hairs coming out. I didn't want it to cover the leg completely because I like how this material, you know, just seeing like the texture come out from here, it just look kind of gross. And it's supposed to make you feel like it looks gross, especially from underneath this angle. Let me save this. Let's see some comments and questions. Thank you again for this presentation. Have one more tiny question. Use substrate materials. We're using regular. When we started this project, I don't know if substrate had come out yet. It might have just come out and it was still kind of beta maybe. And I did try duplicating the project and changing the substrate. It broke a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't really know if it like, I don't know if the substrate, it seemed to just still look the same. So it's cooler material system. I don't know if it looked better though. So that's why we're just like, oh, we don't necessarily have to have that. Let's see some other. I didn't know Unreal can have grooves. I thought you had hair cards for everything in real time. I think that you do still have to have hair cards for video games.
So here we have some sounds added in there. Kind of creepy. So you can see the tongue is definitely moving more in this version, Tran. Like,
Yeah.
which is really gross looking.
Yeah.
So this is a new animator we have helping us from France, and he I wasn't sure. He had never worked professionally. I sent him this just to see like what he could do, and I think he completely crushed it.
Yeah, it's really good.
Like I did not think he was. I did not tell him make sure that they fight with each other like that. Like they feel like the way baby, like if you've ever seen like baby alligators, they do exactly this. Like reptiles, they fight with each other the minute they come out of their eggs. It's pretty creepy. So very happy with that. So in terms of the sound, there's a bunch of sounds that are making this. So let's just take a quick look at them. So we have this here. So just a quick slither. We have another quick slither. So I've layered the slithering 3 times, one for each one. Okay, then we have the little bites. Oh no, that's the hiss. Which I think I need to offset it now. I really think it should go right there. So let's offset that because it's moved a little bit. Okay, then we have that hiss right there. So should offset that too. Now we have this one here. I should offset that as well. Okay, that's better. Let's see what we have here. So this is a sound that I believe what I did is I slowed it down big time. You can see I slowed it down 40% and I lowered it just to give it like a texture. And it was an animal hissing. And I just ran it over everything, but it's really slow. And then lastly, we have our bite, which I think I need to offset a little bit as well. And then this one here.
What is that sound? Like, is it just a?
It's me eating cereal.
That's what it sounds like.
No, it's not. But it sounds like it. But it works.
Oh, it totally works.
When it's all layered together, all the sounds really come together. Play it one more time.
Let's answer some questions. So
did I record the sounds myself? No, I did not. So I have a big sound library. I will record a sound for this because I want there to be like a high pitch baby sound on top of everything. I was about to do it, but I will not do it.
so sweet workflow. Thanks, Bobby.
Oh, look, it's Sadan. You should show him the moth. Did you see the moth with the fur, Sadan?
I'll bring it up. I'll show
Pull
it.
it back up, yeah. But to answer the question, Daria, the sound, some of it I'll record, but a lot of it we buy like sound libraries, and then you just have to layer them up. You know, there's not that many different sounds. I mean, there's a lot, but you get your slithers. You could use them for everything. If you record it or you get a sound library, you're gonna get the same kind of thing. But there's a lot of amazing sound libraries. And then there's like subscription based sound libraries, so like Artlist, there's freesound.org, and you just layer it up and you'll make some awesome stuff. Also, he did see the fur. Okay, cool. So yeah, so these are the things that, so when the moth attacks Zort, this will be the thing that we have. So I'll show you another thing that we have this week that I probably should have shown earlier because it's so freaking cool. Let me pull it up. This thing that Celine sent. It's really kick-ass. Second. Here it is. So this is really cool. So Celine is doing some of the best stuff on our project, and we've been getting this monologue that Zort does, because Zort is like a pompous little ass, right? He's the one that eventually becomes the antagonist because he gets attacked by the moths, but we want him to be just an unbearable prick. So this is like part of the monologue he does, that everyone eats up, by the way. Everyone at the Threadling world loves. This is really kick ass. I love it. She did such a great job. This was originally done with motion capture as well, so it's just a great teamwork. Like the voice, the motion capture, and then the animation that Celine did on the face to get the face to look like this, and the clean up the body all together work really well together. So this is her getting all the face stuff. It's pretty cool.
He looks so smug.
So cool,
Those
yeah.
yeah, and those face shapes are all so
And Shraga too, yeah.
yeah. So animation is great, and then Shraga's face shapes is what makes that look like that.
And
It's
Sasha textured. You modeled this Sasha textures. So there's no textures here, but us just a lot of teamwork on this guy.
yeah,
Yeah,
but I think Shraga really took it to another level with the face.
with the face, with the blood shapes. Yeah,
Like when you see the one in Unreal, it's just whatever. Like when
yeah,
it's just like a T pose.
yeah. And then Kevin's his mocap, like he just got his douchiness.
Yeah, like that's his body.
So that sound clung, you're gonna see a spotlight turn on above him, right? So he's like talking in front of a crowd. The big thing that I wanted this to feel like is almost like Jack Skellington talking to the Halloween town about Christmas Town, right? That moment. But but Jack is cool, right? And this guy's not cool. So the whole thing is this guy, everyone sees him as like this big rock star, and then he goes out in the field past the area where he should go because he thinks he's invincible, and then he gets murdered by these moths, and they inject him with the larva here. Uh, and then they're gonna be controlling his mind, and he's gonna be going around murdering Threadlings. Yeah, the animation is Maya.
Yeah, and there's a couple other questions here. Um, how does nanite enter the process? All our environments are nanite. Like everything that's not a character is nanite. And like for animation, all the animators are using Maya.
Yeah. So these guys will be inside. I try to get the sounds onto these things like as soon as possible, like right away, because to me, I can't feel them being alive unless I hear them making sounds. So I just want to get a little bit more cooing sounds in there. And then the other thing that I want to do here, let's just take a quick look at this here. I would keep this ridiculously simple, but um, let's come over here. Okay, so let's just take a look at this. You don't have an emissive control in the shader, right? No.
No, probably not. And that
So I'll just do like a real nasty one right now. But just something like this. Oh, not that. Is what I kind of want this to do. So let's do that. Let's do this. With a better glow. So I want that to glow, which it's not doing. Is there a way to make it glow in the shader?
you have to
I just have to increase the intensity of it.
yeah, it just has to like
Naturally glow.
um well, if you have a color on it, you need a multiplier. in like a like
But if you set the value to 8, it's gonna make it past 1.
yeah, but you have to always do it in the master.
Yeah, but here I'm doing it on the master
Okay.
just to see what it.
Yeah, so try that. Sometimes though, if like things are maximum red, it could be trickier. And
I
then
mean
yeah,
that's doing it. But
that
it's not doing the glow, but it's.
try doing it like a 20 or something, like really high. It also has to do with you have to have like bloom and
And I did tone that down here. So
so it relies on like I think like some post stuff too. Like letting it bloom and some volumetrics and stuff.
'cause remember this one was giving me that issue.
Yeah. Can you have bloom without lens flare?
Yes. So let's go to the post process. So this shot was giving us this really weird like a reverse. It was a reverse lens flare, like it was coming out completely black. So I could bring this like that.
Yeah. Those little sparkles a little it's like that's a little bit worrisome. But like it's kind of connected in that way. I think if you like really increase the emissive, like I would put 20, like 50, like really intense value. That way you don't have to bump up the bloom too much.
Yeah. And I just want that to like turn on and off quickly. I don't want it to be always like that, but let's just see what they all look like if they all had that, just out of curiosity. Because that is kind of cool-ish. Not sure. So it's a little heavy metal, which I kind of like. I don't know. It's cool. I definitely think I just wanted to like just turn on and off, like breathe, rather than just be on the whole time. But there is something kind of cool about that too. So let's put that back to normal. That is kind of cool. But that's why you need to have your shaders broken out, because then it becomes much easier to do that. And let me bring down the post-process bloom here. Okay, there we go. So what else do we have? So then you need to have the same glow on the moth. So no, because the whole thing is, so this guy here is supposed to be, again, he's supposed to be like the Messiah. He has a red crystal. He's born from a red crystal. So he's supposed to be the one that has more power than anybody else, right? And the prophecy says, whoever is born from a red crystal, hence him being the only thing in this world that has the color red, he's going to be the one that ends the war, that destroys the moths, right? The wording isn't that destroys the moths, is it ends the war, right? So he's supposed to be the one that everyone sees as the savior. When he's when he's attacked by the moths and they inject him with the larvae are born from within him. So the prophecy was just completely misunderstood. The moths that attack him would not have red eyes, but the moths that would grow out of those larvae would become the red eye. They become like the most powerful of all the moths, and then those would be the ones that destroy and kill all the threadlings. So the one that Tran is working on would not have the red eyes. When these guys grow up, they would have red eyes as moths.
And not just the red eyes, their entire color scheme would be very red.
Honestly, what I would probably do is I would just have Vague Sedan just redesign the moth like a super moth, like to go back to like Ninja Turtles too. Uh The Vanilla Ice one, I would do like the equivalent of the Super Shredder, right? Like the because this is totally like 80s movie homage. So in the 80s there would be the Super Shredder, and he would have it would be just like Shredder but with more spikes. So it would be like that, and maybe the spikes all have like a red glow to them. That could be pretty kick ass. Maybe even the adding some of the red glow to some of the tips here could be pretty cool. Um, but yeah, something like that I think would be pretty.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Uh, in the future one day,
Yeah,
because that would be just too expensive. But
yeah.
it probably is would be good just have a different design because it's not just a color thing in that case.
Yeah, so you need a full length feature for this project. Yes, and then we're gonna hire you to just come work for us all the time and design ugly monsters to torture cute little characters. Um, so give me 1 second. So Sadan is one of my favorite artists, and we brought him in for the Threadlings. So these are the moths here without the fur and the textures and stuff like that. So you can see very beautiful. So if you guys want to see some amazing work, just check out his stuff. He's crazy talented, and he does designs. You know, it's very easy to make monsters all look the same. And this guy always makes stuff that feels really fresh and original.
Yeah.
That's just, oh my god, that is kick ass.
There's also like that's the other thing too, like there's a strong, absolute like solid understanding of like anatomy and forms, like all the um foundation and understanding is like so solid.
Yeah, because a lot of times you'll monster people use it as an excuse to not get good at anatomy.
And they're like their stuff is just not believable.
It's just no, it's just detail. It's just
Well,
detail and alphas.
and well blobby, right? Because then
Yeah.
yeah.
But then, you know, I look at this and I'm like, fuck, that is so kick ass. So check out his work on ArtStation. You won't be disappointed. This stuff is incredible. Like, just so weird. What the hell is this fucking thing? It's so awesome. And he's got little wings. He's too fat to fly though. He's awesome. Um, so yeah, check out his stuff. It's really kick ass.
Here's a I don't know if you answered this question. If Zort was supposed to be the savior, how did he end up being killed by the moth? Is that a metaphor of there's no hope for threat? No. So
Sorry.
the prophecy is he was born from the red crystal will end the war between the moths, the threadlings and the moths. And that is the prophecy. That's right.
So wait, just for clarity, so every threadling is basically an egg made out of fabric, and then the queen places a crystal inside of the egg. Every single threadling has a blue egg except for Zort.
A blue crystal.
A blue crystal. What did I say?
Egg.
A blue crystal, yes. Except for Zort. So the prophecy is not totally clear. It says whoever was born from a red crystal, he who's born from a red crystal will end the war, right?
And yeah, so it's like super vague.
Super vague.
So Zort is born from red crystal. Uh, but the larvae are also born from Zort. So when they, he gets attacked, they lay that stuff in him, lay eggs.
His life comes from a red crystal. So by the
Yeah.
larva being born from him, they too are being born from the red crystal.
Yeah. So when they burst out of him, Zort's dead, and his crystal is supposed to pop out of his body, and you see it's faded. And then these guys are red. So they have the red crystal's power.
Yeah.
And that's like the prophecy. It's still true. Actually, it's still completely true. It's just not the way that they wanted it to
We
be.
just think it's much cooler that the one, the Luke Skywalker is actually the bad guy, and the the prophecy was to destroy the people, not to save them, and they got it completely in reverse, and now they're screwed. So so yeah, so our little cotton mayo have to rise to the occasion and help defeat them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me save this. So all right, so that's cool. So I don't know if I have this open. Let me see if I have it open. So I've been doing some tests with this also. I think my license expired already. But this is pretty cool. So I've been messing around with this program called Liquid Gen. Just give it a second to open. And give it a second. It's still. Give it a second. It's probably because I just have so much stuff open. But it might not be working because I have my license just expired. But it was to get, there it is. But it's to get the vomit to come out of
the Zort's mouth when he's
yeah. So it's going very slow. I'm not sure why it's moving so slow. I think it's because I have so much stuff open. But
it's just like some green crap coming out.
yeah, it's pretty cool, this program. It's so freaking simple to use. My God. Like I'd never used this thing, and within like an hour I had the vomit looking like what I wanted it to look like. Like I just wanted this drool to start coming out. It's completely real time in the sense that like you move the emitter and the vomit is just moving along with it. Just getting the viscosity and all that stuff, so it has the thickness and whatever. I still don't have it exactly how I want, but I just wanted to see like, can I figure this crap out if I sat down and try to figure it out? And very simple. These guys, the Jenga effects guys, really are doing some of the most awesome software. Um, real time, and then you could just export this and bring it into Unreal very easily. The only issue I had, if you guys play with this, is just if you have a shot in particular, is just our stuff was very far away from the origin, and it does not like that. It wants to be closer to 000. So you almost have to like group your Alembic, reposition it to 000, and then export it, do the sim, and then bring it back into the original position that it had, and then it just fixed it. So, but you could see we have all of this pretty cool vomit. So really cool program. It's so simple. Like basically all I really had to do. Let me get rid of the turbulence here for a second. Oh, wrong thing. Because this will make it move even faster. That turbulence slows things down. Let's see. So now it's gonna probably explode, but you'll see it's pretty cool.
That is really cool. It looks like a lot of fun.
Oh, it's so much fun. I think this is gonna explode right now, but oh no, it's coming out pretty well. So this is faster, but a little bit more even. And it's cool. I mean, you could just grab this emitter and just kind of position it wherever the hell you want. And so if I did this instead, it's going so much slower because we're streaming. But if you just do this, you'll see, you'll just start getting the gunk on the model. So it's just a lot of fun. You're just putting pea soup on stuff. That was my reference is like it's got to look like The Exorcist. It's got to look like Reagan in the bedroom with the pea soup. But like look at the holes in there. That's kick ass. And you have it's the controls are real simple. So almost all of this is just stuff that you don't even really need to adjust. Like rendering just the scene is just the scene file. The ground is just the ground. The sky, the light, the camera, all this is stuff that really isn't even relevant to things you really have to like know how to adjust. This is really the only stuff that you actually need to do. Bring in the primitive. So in this case was the sphere, right? That's it. Okay, it's good. So then that's it. You just brought it in. That's this node, right? Okay, so what is this going to do? So you're going to turn it on and how the speed that it comes out at. Okay, you could key that. There you go. That's it. This and then the whether it's like a fixed direction, so you want it to go in X, Y, or Z, whatever. Very easy to understand settings, right? Then here we're importing the Alembic file, him essentially as a collider, right? Comes in, and then it's pretty much all in here. So the size of the voxel, so you need to make it smaller so that it feels like it's a thicker simulation. If I bring this up, it will change this whole thing. So you can see if I undo this here, you're gonna get like a finer liquid now. So you would get more like strands and stuff like that, but not a ton of settings. That's what I love about this. It's very basic stuff. And then that's kind of it. And then the force. So this is like, is it a constant force? Is there, so we could go to like, the forces here and then put like a turbulence. And then all this is basically a 3D map with an animation so that when it's emitting, there's some breakup to it. And then, okay, you want this turbulence on this. Okay, cool. There, that's it. Like it's so freaking simple. It looks fantastic. All the presets are amazing, so you don't have to like create everything from scratch if you don't want to. Um, you don't have to learn this really crazy programs to do liquid sims. So simple. So don't be surprised if we see more liquid stuff in the Threadlings after this, because I was really impressed. I still have so much to learn from it, but we're bringing these guys on hopefully in the next few weeks to talk about this program.
Yeah, that would be super cool.
Yeah, so it's called Liquid Gen, and then they have Ember Gen, which is also amazing, which I'm going to look into that of course as well. So Liquid Gen. Cannot recommend this thing enough just because of the simplicity of it. I think like if I just do like a new project, so you could see that's just real time, right? So if I grab this here, so it actually does it well when I'm not, oh, it says maximums, but you can see I just moved it, rotate this thing. Right, pretty incredible. You want to come over here and you're like, okay, I want this thing to have, let's go to our collider. So let's see, which one was it here? So the stickiness, we crank up the stickiness, we bring down the flip ratio, and now you're gonna see it's gonna feel much stickier. Let's bring this down even more. Let's come over here to the voxel size and bring this down like so. Okay, so it's saying it's running out of voxel, so I just have to crank this back up. But anyway, you could see pretty simple to set this up and to play with it. It moves it's moving fast, but it's doing all of this because I have Unreal open, I'm streaming. I have 2 versions of Maya open. I have Photoshop open, and we're writing a script on the other program. So everything is open at the same time.
I just realized there's a problem with there is actually a problem with the Alembic for the moth attack.
There is?
Yeah, like the teeth are not, they're there, but they're not behaving correctly. If I show you my screen, you'll see.
Take over.
Okay, so here it is, the moth in space, right? And it's flying. Maybe the teeth pop back. But when I look at for the teeth, it's right here.
Hold on, my computer just crashed.
Oh, so you can't see it at all. I don't know. So anyway.
Well, remember, your sound is connected to my computer, so I'm not sure if anybody could even hear you. Check to see in the chat.
James says we can hear.
Okay, so then just keep going.
Yeah, so this is like the moth attack on Zord. And I'm trying to bring in the animation. But the teeth are not there. Like they're there, but they're like right, they're here. so there's something wrong with them.
So it is broken.
Yeah, I mean, because it's spinning around in the center. There's without doubt that's broken. So that's what's happening there. So I can still work on it, but we'll have to ask.
I'm asking right now.
To get a new one. Because we do want those teeth. I can still work on the shot. I'll have to re-import it back in. And what I'm doing right now is I'm actually assigning the materials back onto the moth. So when it's given to us, it's completely gray shaded, and all these colors they're not actually for fun. So those colors that you're seeing, they're different materials. That way, when it goes into Unreal, it knows what to assign. And if you don't actually break it up, what will happen is it will just be assigned one material, and it's just not made out of one material, right? So you'll only be able to put one when instead I have way more than one. So I'm just making sure the colors match up. And also the way they're assigned is a little bit odd. And the reason why they're assigned this way is because we use Alembic workflow, and it has
Hold
to
on, can you show
assign to
me? Can you
face.
show me that? Like my computer's frozen completely. So let me just film that error on your side. Hold on a
Okay.
second.
Let me hide this one. That's the teeth.
So those are the teeth,
Yeah, they're just spinning it in the origin.
and they're just spinning in the origin while the rest of the moth is doing its thing.
Yeah, and then the moth is over.
And there's no teeth in its mouth right now.
No, it's toothless. Got it? Okay, so what Miguel just did now is he just recorded this off my screen, and he's going to send it.
to the, oh, so my liquid gen just crashed. Okay, cool. I'm back.
And I'm doing something pretty boring, which again is assigning these materials. Yeah, we don't have like well, Miguel, actually you actually came up with a way to assign the materials very easy, right? Like you wrote a chat GPT's Python script or you got it from one?
I make Chat GPT cheap, like easy scripts like that all the time for everything. Chat GPT is so powerful if you're using it to make tools to make your life easier in CG. Just all the crap you need. Like you find yourself doing something over and over and over, just have Chat GPT write a script for it. You know, the hardest part is just articulating what the hell you want in a way that makes sense for Chat GPT, right? But just you're never gonna get it on the first go, and just work with it and copy what errors you're getting and paste it back until it works. But um, it totally works. It works great for us. So I have tools to offset the animation. I have tools to change the mocap X offset, to apply the shaders for Unreal correctly. Just a bunch of stuff. Some of them I'd give you guys, but they're so specific to the threadlings that they say like they only work if it's like caught Mayo or Shrog, the professor. So they're very threadling specific.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I think that's all we got today.
Yeah, I think the rest of the stuff is kind of boring. Like um I have to bring I have to export this, re-export this Alembic. It's going to be temporary though because it's going to be missing the teeth. And it's going to take a bit just to even export all of this. And I'm going to select it through here because the parts, the teeth are like somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then that will take a bit. That's going to take quite some time because this is a heavy mesh and this is going to be, what's crazy is that this time we can actually import this stuff, right? Whereas in the old, when we're doing voice in the hollow, this would have been too big. And I'm not sure what we would have done. We probably would have broken it up. Yeah. But I think that's it, like Miguel said.
Yeah. Yeah, guys. So thank you. You know, we have this week some crazy stuff happened this week on the threadlings that we can't wait to share with you guys later. But yeah, all is good, and thank you guys for watching. We should have more shots next week. Thanks to all the animators that are making this thing awesome, the people that have helped us along the way. The threadlings is definitely not just two people. This is the most ambitious project we've ever done, and it would not be possible without everybody that's helping us out, make this really cool and messed up animated film. So thanks everybody. Thanks Ty, Johnny Boy, Bobby. Oh my God, so many. Jose, Jacob, Rob, Sohi, Daria, Sedan, who's one of our creative brothers here, and well, everybody else. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you on the other side. And thanks to James. I'm not sure if today's his last day, but if it is, he's the guy behind the guy. He's
Yeah, he's always helping us out. So he's with us in every single stream.
Yeah, he's the guy in Spider-Man, the guy behind the guy. So he's back there. And so thanks everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Yes.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye. And oh, and of course, thanks to Gnomon, Dell, and NVIDIA for all their support. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Wait, let me press the button. There it is. Bye bye.